Welcome to another episode of Take a Bite Out of South Florida. We are episode 10. This is our 10th episode, and to celebrate 10 episodes, I'm at the beach. I'm at my favorite oceanfront restaurant in South Florida. And when I say oceanfront, like seriously oceanfront, I can see the sand and the beach from where I'm sitting. If you haven't already guessed, we're at Oceans 234 in Deerfield Beach, and I am here with owner Danielle Rosse and executive chef Nicole. Thank you guys for having me at your beautiful restaurant.
Of course, anytime.
We love coming on the show.
No, you're our favorite foodie to have.
Yay! I love to hear that. It's so 10 episodes for me, but 20 years for Oceans 234. We are celebrating 20 years here. October is this month of celebration for them, and that's exciting. 20 years of beautiful oceanfront dining. So get me up to 20 years. How did this all start for you, Danielle? And over all these years, you've done so much to change this restaurant from the very beginning. Yeah. And
it's truly been like a crazy evolution, and it still kind of feels surreal for me to say I've been here 20 years. Because I don't even think I'm that old, right? For
20 years is a long time.
Yeah, it really is.
You're not old. You're not.
But I really started on this property 24 years ago when it was the ranch house.
Oh.
So I don't know if you've been in South Florida that long.
Nope.
But this was the ranch house. JB's, which is next door, was a gas station. So we had an oceanfront gas station, us, and then a little takeout stand that was kind of in the sand right next to us.
Wow.
So we've kind of watched this whole area go through this transformation, ourselves included. So we knocked the building down 20 years ago, built what you see now, which is Oceans 234.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
And then the city kind of came in behind us. They built the boardwalk that has, connects Deerfield Beach. It goes from the pavilion here all the way past Embassy Suites. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-mile walk if you walk.
I've done that walk.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I actually did it the other day. It was the highlight of my week.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's really a nice walk. I mean, this whole area is just so beautiful. Yeah. I love it. And this restaurant is just gorgeous. If you haven't been here, you need to come check it out. And when was it? 2012 that you did the
15.
Renovation?
So it's interesting. When we opened 20 years ago, we really didn't know what we wanted to be when we grew up, right? So when we were the ranch house, we did breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We were a diner, and we were like, we're just going to rebuild it and kind of do the same thing, but we were having an identity crisis. It didn't work. We dropped breakfast after like 2 years and only kept it on the weekends, and then have really just gone through this like massive evolution to kind of get to where we are today. But in 2015, we did our biggest renovation where we actually shut down for, I think, 90 days and just blew the space up and made it, what you see now.
Yeah, and it was a huge transformation.
That was a game changer for us. Yeah.
It was like a $1.8 million. I think I got that number right.
Yeah, just about $2 million on interior renovations. We elevated the food, our service model, and just said, how are we going to differentiate ourselves in this space, in this marketplace, and really uturize the space a little differently, because it was laid out, had some things challenges.
I remember eating here for the very first time when I first moved to Florida in 2011.
Yep. And
I think I ate here, maybe it was like a year or so into living in this area. And I remember eating like around the corner, but it was a really like kind of dark, small, like I have this like
we
vision.
Had columns like all down the board or down the patio. It was kind of cut up.
Yeah.
We had the bathrooms on the ocean side. So
it was different.
We had to reimagine all of that. And we did it, kind of had I call it like our do-over in 2015.
Yeah. And then I remember coming in for a big like media blogger dinner right after that and experiencing the new menu and like the new space. And it was just fantastic. It's just like a beautiful place. You walk in here and you just feel like, I don't know, it's like a sense of just serenity being this close to the beach and the food and just the atmosphere is fantastic.
You know how people say like we live where you vacation.
Yes.
We try to kind of recreate that experience like being here. So
Absolutely.
Whether you come here for lunch after like a business meeting, like it's like you're stepping into vacation for that 1 hour that you're dining here, right? Just to kind of get away from it all.
I know. And we don't have very many beachfront restaurants in South Florida, which blows my mind.
For being coastal,
Yeah, it's crazy. So you're one of the very few places where you can walk, like pretty much the only thing separating us from the sand is a sidewalk, like the little, the the sidewalk and then maybe a set of stairs. But the fact that we don't have more restaurants this close to the beach is so weird to me. I'm like, I go into other countries, like even like in the Caribbean, and they have restaurants on the sand. I'm like, why don't we have that here?
We don't. It's
I
crazy.
wish we did. But this is as close as you can get pretty much, which is why I love it. I absolutely love it. So to celebrate 20 years, what is happening at the restaurant right now? I know you have some promos going on for the rest of the month till October 31st. Tell me about how you're celebrating 20 years.
So for this month, we've come up, we have a commemorative glass. So if you order a drink off of our cocktail list, you get to go home with one of our 20th anniversary glasses to kind of commemorate this milestone for us and kind of have it in as a little reminder for yourself at home. Yeah.
It's fun. And then there's a photo booth in here.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We've had a lot of fun with it.
That is staff. So fun.
Yeah, we put the photo booth in the back. And so you get kind of your little 20th anniversary, and it goes into a photo album. You can write us a little note.
It's fun.
It's been really fun and kind of just commemorate all of the guests that we have coming through the doors in the next couple of weeks.
That's such a great way to celebrate. And then if people post their, Oceans 234 memories online and tag you, you'll repost it.
Yeah, of course.
If you have memories of coming here over the last 20 years, like post your things on Instagram, tag Oceans_234.
Actually, I believe anytime Callie sees one, she's sending gift cards out to those guests.
All right. If you do that, you're going to get a gift card.
Yep.
So incentive to do it.
And it's so funny how many people stop me when they see that I wear Ocean shirts or a sweatshirt and they're like, I got married there. I got engaged there. I had my wedding party there. Whatever it is, like so many people are connected to this restaurant down here.
And it's a beautiful
always
venue.
blows my mind.
It's a beautiful venue for that, for anything, for events. Speaking of which, you guys, you have a lot of events here. You're so connected to the community and so willing to give back and host fundraisers here and bring in other chefs, like your connection to other chefs in South Florida, bringing in these guest chefs.
Yeah.
Which is really fun, and I'm sure fun for you to have, other chef friends in the kitchen. You're collaborating. Tell me more about some of these chef collaborations and events and community things that you do. You're part of a lot of festivals.
Yeah, I actually was having this conversation, I think 2 days ago with another restaurateur, and just talking about how close-knit the chefs are in kind of my generation of chefs. Between Jay Binder and Jimmy from Driftwood, Jimmy from Austin Republic, we have so many amazing chefs and we're so tight. We share recipes, we share ideas, we share our lives. We're not there to compete with each other unless it's a friendly competition. And it's just a different feel than how it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago when I was coming up in kitchens. And I love that we have that community down here.
Did it feel very competitive that all those years ago, like when you were first?
So I came from Boston, and it is a little bit more like the big city competition. We're going to take them down, like, ew, they're the chef of this place, And here it's just not like that. We want to elevate the food in Palm Beach County and Broward County, and that's our collective goal, and we really try and make that happen.
I think you have succeeded and continue to succeed in that. The amount of chef-driven events and things that I've gone to where everybody is just like, it's such a nice community to be part of. And you're right. There's no, I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be friends with them because they're they're chef at that restaurant, or, there's no animosity, competition. It's really a beautiful thing about the South Florida, restaurant scene, which is great.
Yeah. And as far as charity events go, I feel really lucky to pretty much get a green light on almost any charity event that I bring to Danielle. We work a lot with Broward Partnership. Danielle and I both work with Best Foot Forward. Danielle's involved in so many other things that I don't even know about, I'm sure.
Every other day I feel like you're doing something else. Like I need to bring up the Boca Ballroom Battle because that is just such a cool event, first of all. And you broke the record for the amount of fundraising this year. It was like $325,000 or something.
346. I mean,
but who's counting? Who's counting? But what an incredible, first of all, so you're fundraising for the George Snow Scholarship.
Correct.
And it's basically like a Dancing with the Stars type of an event where you really did train.
Yeah, for 6 months prior to. It was a big undertaking and a little harder than it looks.
It looks hard. It looks hard.
But we had an amazing time. The collective group of community leaders that came together this year, collectively we raised over $1.2 million.
Incredible.
Which was a huge record for George Snow. And,
wow.
We just, as a team at the beginning of the year said, this is our 20th year and we want to give back to the community that has given to us and supported us all this time. And so we found a couple of initiatives, George Snow being one of them, that we could really get behind and make a difference. So, it wasn't just, us fundraising, our guests, contributed here, all of our community partners, all of our vendors, everybody came together and to make that number, achievable.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
You hosted a luncheon here to raise money. It was like a salsa night, salsa night. I saw there was a cocktail on the menu that I think a portion of the proceeds would go towards the fundraising. So there were a lot of, collective efforts.
Promotion. We had other guest chefs come in for a food and wine festival. Right. That was actually it was so well received. It might be an annual event that we
That
adapt.
Was really fun. Yeah. I was very happy to be here for that. It was a great turnout. Was fun, yes. Beautiful. So much great food and wine, and the weather was perfect, and with the music, and you have such an amazing space. Might as well utilize it as much as you can,
When we did our big renovation in 2015, we had an initiative back then called One Step, and it was about how one step, can make a difference. Every single thing that we do in our community can make a difference. And we've just every year just kind of compounded on that thought because, we're here and there's so much more than just financial means that can contribute to a community, right?
Very true.
We do an adopt a school program with Broward County, and it gives Nicole firsthand, experience with these kids to be in a kitchen and say, hey, is this a path that you want to take? So there's so many different areas that we can leverage kind of our resources, whether it just be the space or just being through mentorship, to kind of collaborate with our community.
That's great. That is a wonderful. I didn't know that you did the school. Yeah. That's really a cool program. So they come into the kitchen here, or you have a kitchen. They have a kitchen that you go.
So it's a little bit of both. We go and do a Q&A at Stoneman Douglas once a year, and then once a year, all the I think juniors and seniors, or maybe just seniors, come and they get to do a full walkthrough. We make a buffet. They get to kind of have a day pretending like they're adults on the beach enjoying brunch. It's a lot of fun for everyone, and they really get to experience the behind the scenes. And
it's like a full restaurant takeover.
It really is.
That's amazing.
And they walk through everything. Yeah, it's cool.
That is such a great experience to have in high school, and really man, I would have liked that. That's so fun. I love it. Kids these days, I feel like they get way better experiences than I remember having in high school or middle school growing up. I'm like, that's not fair. I want to redo.
Yeah.
So you're celebrating the 20th year. You just rolled out some new menu items, from what I understand. So let's talk about that, Nicole. Before we talk about that, you said before you're from Boston. I know you've worked in restaurants in Massachusetts, Atlanta, but you also spent time in South Korea.
I did. So I'm a Florida native. I was born and raised in Orlando.
Okay.
But like you said, I've been all over the place. I ended up taking a teaching position in South Korea when I graduated from Florida State. Go Noles. When I graduated, and it was such an amazing experience to get to travel, to be paid to travel. I learned that I am not meant to be an elementary school teacher, but that's okay.
That is fine.
But, I took a lot of that home with me, and just learning about Korean cuisine and traditions and different techniques from East Asia. And then I spent some time in Southeast Asia afterwards, and that's been a lot of inspiration for me.
So tell me about some of the culinary experiences there. I want to know. I want to know about the food. I mean, I've never been to that part of the world, but I love that type of food and that type of cuisine. So how has those travels, how has that inspired the way that you cook, the way that you come up with menu items?
Yeah, of course, it shows you a wealth of different ingredients that you wouldn't normally be exposed to, and that are slowly making their way to the U.S., and you know how to use them. But also, culturally, eating out, even with your boss or your coworkers, it's a very familial experience. It's all family style. You split the bill evenly, you share everything. And it's just a really different and great way, I think, to dine and interact with people. And, it just teaches you the importance of sharing food together, breaking bread together. And it's throughout every culture around the world.
I agree. That's how I prefer to go out to dinner with a group of people. Everything's, share plates, family style, get a little taste of everything rather than like I'll have one appetizer, one entree. Breaking bread with everyone is just it is a really a good way to connect with people.
Absolutely.
And food is just such a connecting thing about our culture.
Yeah, it's a universal language. Everyone eats.
Everyone eats. Everyone eats. So where did you work in Boston, and like where are some of your most memorable culinary experiences prior to coming to Oceans 234?
So I actually moved to Boston to get my master's in gastronomy from Boston University, which was an amazing time. That program was founded by Julia Child and Jacques Capon.
Wow.
Who he still made some pop-ups every now and then, and we'd get to see him.
That's
and it was
pretty
such an
exciting.
Honor. Yeah, it was an honor. And just some huge names in the culinary scene and the anthropology world. We got to work with Sandy Block, who unfortunately has passed, but he was a great writer for Wine Spectator, and we got to learn from him. So just the wealth of knowledge I got from that program was amazing. And I worked in a lot of restaurants around Boston. If anyone's from Boston, they'll know East Coast Grill. That was a total institution there. It was James Beard Award winner in its day. Chris Schlesinger, who's still around, still making great food. He introduced a lot of the hot chili peppers that we're seeing now, where like Wendy's has ghost pepper wings and things like that. He was the first person to really bring that to the States back in the 80s and say, oh, look at these. These are Carolina Reapers. These are ghost peppers. And he got everyone excited about that. I worked at Harvard Gardens and Lincoln Tavern. Oh, really?
I've been there.
Exciting.
I go to my boyfriend went to school in Boston, lived there for a while, so we go every summer.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
We went to Harvard Gardens last time.
Yeah, and Lincoln Tavern is a huge place. It really turned around. It was the first place in Southie to really be a little elevated and turn around that neighborhood. And it's interesting how when restaurants move in, the price of the houses go up, and we can really elevate everything around us just by providing good service and good food. Mm-hmm. But there's so many talented chefs in Boston.
I love that area.
There's Barbara Lynch and
great places. I went last summer when I was up there. I ate at Little Donkey.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
I love
Obsessed.
it. I love Little Donkey. Toro's amazing.
I have to go to Toro next time, but obsessed with
Jamie
Little Donkey.
Bisson, total inspiration for me.
And there was a cool spot I went to called the Beehive.
That might have been after my time, yeah.
It was in a basement, and it was very cool.
Very cool.
We stumbled upon it, and then coincidentally, the last time I went, there was a guy managing, and he came up to me, and he's like, I know you from Decade 84 in Delray. And I was like, oh my God, it was the weirdest coincidence. I'm like, I'm in Boston, and then it was, people, clearly there's a Boston, South Florida connection.
Is. Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway that I have from Boston is oysters have always been my favorite food. I grew up eating Gulf oysters. My family is very Cajun, Louisiana. But then I moved to Boston, and I was like, oh my God, this is what oysters are supposed to taste like. And now I'm a total oyster snob. The staff probably gets really sick of me talking about all the oysters we have, but I really bring it into our program here, and we always have the best, the freshest, the most interesting oysters. So if you're an oyster person,
I am. And that is a great segue to start talking about the new menu items.
Yes.
So what have you done with the menu here since starting 2 years, 2.5 years ago or so?
2 years ago, yeah.
And so how has the menu evolved since you started coming, and what are some of the changes happening right now?
I think that a lot of it is just figuring out what our audience wants and listening to them and really connecting with them through what we make. We've found that our audience does want a more elevated experience. They are craving things that have great ingredients, like our Ora King salmon, like our crab cakes that are 100% fresh jumbo lump crab. Of course, these ingredients are a little bit more expensive, but our audience is willing to pay for quality. And that's something that we've really focused on is fresh, local Florida, and then just high quality. Those are the two things that I focus on a lot. And the great thing with this menu change that I love so much is almost every change that we made on this menu came directly from a survey that we sent out to the staff about how they interacted with guests and what guests were asking for and what they thought would work.
That's really smart.
Yeah, it was very collaborative. And I think it's been well received because of that, because we're not just listening to us and our ego, we're listening to what our clientele wants.
And what do they want?
Mashed potatoes.
What's your favorite new item, or like when did the new menu roll out? Like last week. Has there been feedback so far? What are people saying?
For sure.
Yeah, everything's been really well received.
Yeah, we have, I think that our most fun new item is a tiradito. It's a little twist on it's so good. It's super light. It's a twist on a Peruvian dish, but then we added some Japanese flavors. So it's a yuzu tiradito. We're using our Ora King salmon, so it's got that unctuous kind of fattiness to it, but it cuts through with the acid, the heat. We have purple potato chips on there. It's just an absolutely gorgeous dish.
That sounds
delicious.
Yeah. Explain, just for anyone who's not familiar with what a tiradito is, sort of what that dish is.
So it's basically like a quickly made ceviche. The fish is still very much in a raw state. But the base of a tiradito is a pepper called ají amarillo, which is found in Peru. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you make a sauce out of that, other citrus fruits. We put some agave in ours and yuzu, obviously. It's a fun way.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sounds amazing. I love that. And then you have is there any new sushi? Or your sushi here is delicious, by the way.
Bowl.
We do have a new poke bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, just because poke bowls are great.
Very popular.
Yeah, I think that we tried to get away from it for so long and do our own thing, and people just wanted a poke bowl. The answer was so simple that sometimes you don't
gets
see
overlooked.
It.
Yeah, it's always an easy thing. Like it's everyone likes it. So your menu is very versatile too. There's something for everyone. You have gluten-free dishes, you have vegetarian dishes, you have the sushi. You even have a sushi roll that's just vegetables too, right? And then of course all the seafood. There's so much. It's a great menu.
We have such a variety of guests that come through here, whether they live here full-time, they're here part-time, they're on vacation, they're coming from out of the country. We want everyone to be able to come here and enjoy their meal and have a great experience. So we try and vary it.
Yeah. I've every experience here has been wonderful. Danielle, what is your personal favorite dish on the menu?
I think she mentioned it. It's the Ora King salmon, and she said it just now, and I was like, I know what I'm having for lunch because I haven't been here in a week. So
what's on that dish?
So it's a butterscotch carrot puree.
Yum.
So it's a sweet and savory carrot puree, and then we thinly shaved Brussels sprouts because everyone loves Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Get a nice char on them. There's smoked almonds, lemon marinated shallots. And like I do with all of the fish is just some salt and simply just seared or grilled. I like to let the fish itself shine and then match with all the other flavors.
And that's a really important fact that you just made. The fish you're using local fresh fish. You don't want to overpower it with all these flavors and other ingredients and that overbalance or that, overpower the fish. The fish is the star.
And the salmon's a great example of if we can't get local, obviously we don't have local salmon.
Yeah.
We're going to get the best we can.
Right.
So we have Ora King. It is the Wagyu of salmon. It's very high in omega-3s, very high in micronutrients, and super high in flavor.
It's delicious. It's like buttery smooth.
It really is.
It melts in your mouth.
It literally does.
It's delicious. I think I had the salmon when I was here for dinner last, and it was fantastic.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's always a winner. Salmon is one of those things that you can't go wrong. It's always good.
No.
It's always good. What's your favorite dish on the menu?
Oh my goodness. I think
swordfish too.
Yeah, the swordfish is probably, that's a good point. That's probably my favorite dish because
I fluctuate between the two.
Yeah, the swordfish, it's super unique to us.
Yeah.
It's a little chefy, so I got to have fun with it, but it's a jerk swordfish. Mm-hmm. We use local swordfish. We do fried plantains with it, a little kale.
Me. Plantains are my jam.
Plantains are so good. Sweet plantains. We toss it with a mint mojo sauce, and then it's a sweet corn puree with the aji amarillo again. So I really love that dish because it's a representation of all of the different cultures in South Florida. There's Caribbean, there's a little bit of Jamaican and Haitian and island cuisine in there. And it's just bringing it all together. And to me, that's South Florida on a plate.
Yeah, that is the ultimate South Florida dish. That's amazing. I like how you describe that as all the different cultures. Good. That's a good, that was a good one. Yeah, keep that in mind. So when you're not cooking or eating here, where do you like to go locally? What are some of your favorite restaurants, favorite chefs, favorite dishes?
What do you got?
So Driftwood's one of my top favorites.
Boynton.
You will not have a bad meal there. If you're craving barbecue, you have to check out Austin Republic with James Strine.
Where is Austin Republic?
That is up on Federal or Dixie. Is it in West Palm?
Is it West Palm? Yeah.
It's West Palm. It's right across from Palm Beach Meats, which is also a great destination.
I've heard wonderful things about that. And it's Jimmy Strine.
Great. I mean, he's so talented. I've worked with him before. He's a great guy. And then I have to give a shout out to my friends at Ravish up in Lantana that are doing a great job. It's a young owner, and they are just putting their whole selves into it.
I'm going there for the first time this weekend.
Yeah. And we actually are tangentially connected to them. Danielle's best friend is business partners with the owner.
Oh, so I did not know that. I didn't know about the connection. That's world. Great. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah.
And they're doing like a burlesque brunch.
Yes, they do. Yeah. It's fun.
Nice.
It's fun. What about you, Danielle?
Yeah, I've got to check that out.
Yeah.
Wow. She named some amazing favorites, but I think if you go like towards Delray, I love Rose's Daughter.
A favorite of mine as well.
Right down the street from there, the Grove is actually
another favorite.
A fan favorite. And then, like if we're sticking in Delray, I love Avalon. I go there quite often, so if I'm looking for
that's right in my
steak,
right in my my neighborhood right there. All very good ones. Yeah. Rose's Daughter is a favorite of mine too.
Yeah,
and the Grove.
Absolutely.
I like every special occasion. I'm going to the Grove.
I know.
Always good. It's like the best. When you go out to eat, being in the industry, I always like to hear your opinions about your experiences in restaurant. What are some of your biggest pet peeves when you go to restaurants?
For me, I can look at a menu before I go and typically decide whether it's something I want to go to. One of my pet peeves is having that cheesecake factory style book of a menu. I want to know what you're about, what you specialize in. Keep your menu tight. Then that way I know that you're using fresh ingredients. They're being rotated. You're taking care with the dishes that you have instead of just putting something on for the sake of putting it on. So that's definitely a big one for me. That's
true. Yeah. And a big menu is sometimes just really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know what to order. That's probably one of mine as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets too much. It's too much. I'm like, just have a concise menu. Show me what you're all about.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
What about you, Danielle?
I think mine's a little bit more petty. I have a thing about like stacking dishes on top of each other and seeing like the food like
seep out.
Yeah, and the other thing, my kids do this sometimes where they're like, somebody comes to clear the table and they put their napkin like in the food. Those are my things.
I get it. And
I can't stand it.
I feel
but also we talked about communal dining. I'm like, oh my God, why'd you put your napkin there? I wanted to eat the rest of your food.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, right? You're like, I wasn't done. Just because you're done doesn't mean I don't want another bite.
I wanted to try it. Right.
And so I feel like sometimes diners think that they're helping the servers by stacking and putting everything on the plate. But like really, it's just annoying.
Yeah, it is.
And it makes everything look so dirty and gross. I'm right with you on that one. It's petty, but that's why it's called a pet peeve.
Pet peeve,
right?
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
So with the holidays right around the corner, are you doing anything special for the holidays? I mean, this is a fantastic venue for holiday parties, for corporate parties, things like that. So let everyone know how they can.
Yeah. So, we do private events throughout the year, but it kind of changes due to the season, right? So we're really heavy in the beginning of the year for life events and celebrating, whether it's weddings or anniversaries or birthdays. And then now to this time of the year will be all holiday driven. So whether it's just like a girls lunch, like let's get together for the holidays, or a corporate dinner, that we cater to all those different areas. And it's just an amazing place. obviously I'm biased, to, sit by the ocean, with Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
But it's just an amazing experience.
It's beautiful.
And I have to say that the week of Christmas and New Year's are two of my favorite weeks because we already have our menu planned for it. We go so big on those weeks. We're bringing in foie gras. We're bringing in so many fun things, and it's going to just be top tier. So even if you aren't going to make it for Christmas, which you should because we're open Christmas Day.
That's right.
We're open Thanksgiving Day. We stay open the whole time. And we will have some really, really cool specials.
So will you have like set menus for the holidays or just some extra specials?
So the great thing that we do is that for Thanksgiving, we offer a Thanksgiving option that's basically a whole Thanksgiving dinner. Or you can get something off of the menu because, not everyone loves turkey.
Right.
So it's something for everyone. For those that want turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, you have that option. For those that want salmon, you have that option as well.
Right.
And Christmas is the same way. We'll have a really elevated, beautiful specials menu with some fun stuff on it, some things that some foodies will really get into. And then we also have our regular menu available as well.
That's good. And then what about for New Year's Eve? Do you do something special or?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's we get a nice New Year's Eve crowd.
We do a champagne toast. She runs amazing specials that same weekend. But we always have our regular menu available.
Right. That's important. Just in case somebody, they wanted that tried and true,
right.
that salmon or the swordfish.
We've learned that lesson. We don't force people into our special, into a set menu. We always offer our regular menu and then have our special holiday menu in addition to. Which
is smart because sometimes that can turn people off if they only have 3 or 4 items to choose from. But so lots to look forward to here. We've got 20 years. Don't forget to come in and come get your commemorative glass. Okay. You can also take photos in the photo booth, and then you're running a special happy hour on Thursday.
Oh, that's right.
So there's one more Thursday that people can come take advantage of that. What's the special?
It's a throwback Thursday for our 20th anniversary, and we're doing $11, $12 pricing on all of our specialty cocktails. Yeah.
So you can come check that out this Thursday, and then just keep in touch and keep following Oceans 234 to find out any specials or things going on. You can find them on Instagram at Oceans_234, and
we always list our specials on our website in case you're wondering what we're doing that week. It's at oceans234.com.
Perfect. And you can join an email list. You can just stay up to date with everything going on. And thank you guys. Thank you so much, Danielle and Nicole, for inviting me here, for being part of this, for my 10th episode. I'm so excited.
Amazing. Congratulations.
So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all for listening and for joining me here at Oceans 234. You can please, why do I always mess up at the end? Thank you all for listening and joining me here at Oceans 234. Please leave a review, rate, subscribe, all the things. Take a Bite Out of South Florida is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. And with that, keep taking bites out of South Florida. I'll see you next time.